today I wanted to hit up some of these hair myths. You know, I get asked often to contribute to different media outlets as a trichologist, as one of the leading stylists in the natural hair care space. And so I'm always excited to contribute to these articles, to also speak to and dispel a lot of the myths. And it's just so interesting because, as we know, there is nothing new under the sun. Things happen in cycles, and especially for Black people, those with naturally curly, tightly coiled hair, that the natural hair movement is not just a movement. But it comes in cycles, right? And so with that come these hair myths. So I want to dive into some of them, because some of these hair myths are hair myths that popped up, I want to say like in the early 2000s, when there was this resurgence of Black women wearing their hair natural. And then we had our whole, the whole blogger sphere blew up, and we had a lot more spaces where people were sharing information on how to care for natural hair, because natural hair education isn't standardized. So I'm ready to tackle this. Welcome everyone as you're sliding in. I'm going to spend a few minutes, yes, 100. And then also too, I'm going to tell you all a couple of the hair myths that have just kind of slid across my desk over just the last couple of weeks. But if there are any hair myths for all of my hair care specialists here on the live with me today that you all are hearing, or you actually have some questions about, and you're like, Dr. Carrie, what about this or what about that? Like, slide them in the chat. Like, I want to talk to you. I want to have a discussion about this, because I think when it comes to especially Black hair, curly hair, because there's no standardized formal education that is consistent around how to care for our hair as a cultural practice, that some things can get lost in the sauce. All right. So, and let me just say this. I've been getting all of the requests for those of you who want to join the DK squad. So let me just celebrate a little bit, and say what's up to all of the squad members here on the live with me today. And I want to shout out my squad members literally around the world, y'all. So thank you all for your support. For those of you who have been following my journey, for those of you who are watching the journey and like, I'm watching Dr. Carrie, because sometimes, you got to sit on the sidelines a little bit before you jump in the game. So I want to say 2022, if you've been watching my journey, if you are a stylist, if you are a hair care specialist, if you are someone who's passionate about Black hair, if you got your products popping and you like, I'm ready to dive in 2022, but I want to do it within a community. I want to do it with support. Dr. Carrie, I want to do it with you. I want to be on the DK squad. Then go ahead, jump in my DMs, or you can email me. I'm accessible. I'm super, super excited about my current squad members. I am full throttle with the education, y'all. So my new training platform is on and pop, locking and dropping. And so for those of you who are actively in the salon and you are doing hair and you're already doing goddess lives, but you like, look, Dr. Carrie, I saw that credit on Harlem. I see what you're doing. I see how you moving out here. And I want to benefit and work with you and be a part of the legacy that you are building for our community within this natural hair care space. Again, join the DK squad. We are global. I want to shout out all my DK squad members that we have in Nigeria, in the UK, in France. We are growing, everyone. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. It's about 5 minutes after the hour. I like to give people an opportunity to trickle on in. Enough with the updates. Catch them on the replay. Let's dive into some of these hair myths. What's up? Yes, I am killing the faux locks. I am. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, beautiful by nature. So the first hair myth, actually, which is not a new one, but it has been floating and circulating within the hair space, period, y'all. It has just completely shifted how we care and think about our hair, are sulfate-free shampoos. Now, I know this is controversial. Oh, it can be controversial. And there is a science behind it. Some of you may have heard me teach on this before. I know my squad members, we got a whole lesson in the course about this. But I think it is so important to get the information and make it available so that you can make the choice that's best for you and your hair care regimen. So sulfate-free products. When I think about sulfate-free products, I'm talking about no shampoo needed. So we had like the co-wash movement for some of you. Like you remember like co-wash was like boom, like that was the thing because WIN came out and it was this whole campaign as more and more women across ethnicities, but those individuals with curly, tightly coiled hair looking for products to keep their hair healthy. So this whole no poo movement began, and that represented the use of no use of sulfates. So this is the thing about sulfates, everyone. Sulfates are what we call a surfactant. It cuts through grease, it cuts through dirt. Sulfates have been a part of hair care shampoo formulations for years. You also will find sulfates in other products like your toothpaste. And yes, it is true that with a sulfate, regular use of a sulfate can cause irritation to the skin. What's up, squad? I see you, Lindsay, slid on in here, girl. Trichologist Lindsay in the building, LM Hair Care. So yes, sulfates, regular consistent use of a sulfate can cause irritation, can dry out your hair. And so let me just kind of back up and give y'all a little factoid about your girl, is that my bachelor's is in marketing and mass communication. So I'm always very interested, and I like to study the way the markets move, and also how, based on the markets, how they're moving, and what is being sold and what is being pushed, the language that's being used, and the education around how products are introduced to the market. And yes, beautiful by nature, you're following me. Regular use though, right. So this is my take on sulfates. For individuals within the Black hair care community, it has been a consistent and regular practice that we typically shampoo our hair. We do our shampoo and hair care regimens maybe 2 times a month, maybe 1, depending on how we're wearing our hair, especially when it comes to protective styles. If you're braiding, you're twisting your hair. When it comes to no poo, my take on no poo has always been it should not replace your shampoo. And what I see happening is there are a lot of individuals who wear their hair curly, who, because of the fear of damaging the hair, so I understand, wanting to be cautious about, sensitivities in the scalp, wanting to keep the hair healthy, will avoid shampoo altogether. Hygiene, the care of your hair, the care of your scalp. I like to use the analogy of a no poo only regimen as like taking a shower with lotion. You need soap. You need to cleanse your hair. And if you are an individual who, you wear locks, you wear braids, you wear twists, you doing twist outs, your hair is more tightly coiled, you need a sulfate. You need a deep clean. You need to cleanse your hair. And oftentimes what I find is that a lot of individuals who would come into my clinic as a trichologist, and they would talk about their transition into natural hair, and they would have a very similar and common complaint that before they went natural, my hair wasn't itchy, my hair wasn't flaky, my hair wasn't dry. And a lot of that comes with the lack of knowledge around the type of product you should be using to keep your hair healthy. And not that sulfate-free shampoos are the only culprit, but what I'm trying to drop right here for all of you is that sulfates won't hurt. Actually, those of you with locks, we need sulfates. One, I use sulfates because I need something that will deep cleanse and remove. I need a surfactant and cut through my hair. And also, too, before I go dive into the next hair care myth, we have to think again what I said about what a surfactant does. And when we talk about the risks of a sulfate come when there is regular and consistent use. So when you think about individuals who have a hair texture or type, those who have a straighter or wavier curl pattern, where sebum, which is the natural oily substance that your scalp produces, causes the hair to be greasy, weighed down, then the shampoo regimen oftentimes is every day or every other day. So if you are someone who's shampooing your hair every day, then yes, you should not be using a shampoo with sulfates because you are going to experience irritation in the scalp. You will experience dryness in your hair. But if you're not shampooing your hair every day, then you need a sulfate. Okay, so drop something in the chat. I see the hearts going up. I could talk about this. I'm trying to keep it lighthearted. I might need to teach a whole lesson on sulfates and just break it down, but it is just really part of my passion in educating around the care of our hair and keeping it simple, just to remove some of the fear and apprehension when you are selecting your products and you are having issues with cleansing your hair, or your curl pattern is changing and you are a healthy individual. It just might be the types of products you're using, or, you know, the products that you're not using. All right, let's move on. Y'all, monostat for hair growth. How many of y'all have heard this? Shoot a emoji, shoot a heart. This is not new. This is something that has been circulating. Of course, hair loss, thinning edges, all of these things, they're not new. And there are, you know, a number of individuals who experience hair loss and thinning in the hair. Around the hairline, traction alopecia is something that's common. I see some yeses in the chat. I see some emojis. And then we're seeing more, and what's up, squad? We're seeing more and more individuals who are experiencing hair loss in the crown. And the term CCCA, centrifugal alopecia. That's why we got the acronym CCCA. We're seeing more and more cases of that. More and more individuals are becoming familiar with this particular form of hair loss, which is a degenerative form of hair loss, where it's non-reversible and it's a scarring form of alopecia, and it's located in the center of the scalp. And the onset of this particular form of hair loss, there can be different reasons why this particular form of hair loss is happening. So let's just dive into the myth. Because one thing that I find happens often in the hair care space, and I get it. This is why we have trichologists. This is why I'm so grateful. I'm going to digress. I am so grateful and excited about all of you who are committed to increasing your knowledge in the area of trichology so that you can serve your clients at this level, because there has been a practice of not seeing a medical professional when we begin to experience changes in our hair and scalp, whether it's the scalp itself or just the density of our hair. And then we come up with these solutions. I don't know who came up with monostat. It might have been somebody in the blogger sphere, a professor at YouTube University who used monostat on their scalp, and maybe they got results. I don't know. But monostat for hair growth, monostat is an antifungal ingredient. And what I believe, the active ingredient in monostat is metaconazole. And what I believe may have happened is, of course, as women, we all know that monostat is used when there is a yeast infection. And so yeast is a part of the fungus family. And so the metaconazole in monostat fights the yeast when you have a yeast infection. Now, why are people putting this on your scalp? I don't know, but I'm going to give y'all my scientific, maybe this is what y'all was doing. I don't know if the person who started doing this promoted this. I don't know how this got out of control, but I'm just going to tie in what I know to how maybe this started happening. So there is a natural yeast that lives on the scalp. Yes, I see you, beautiful by nature. Yeast infection on the scalp. I mean, I guess in layman's terms, we can call it that, right? There's a natural yeast on the scalp called P. ovale or Pityrosporum ovale. And when there is an overgrowth of this yeast on the scalp, it can cause an excessive flaky condition. The most simple form that we see it in is dandruff, but there are a number of flaky, itchy scalp conditions that this can show up in. Additionally, when the cause of some forms of hair loss, specifically some of the triggers of the hair loss that we see in the center of the scalp for a lot of women that is identified as CCCA, is triggered by a fungal infection in the scalp. I know you was just kidding, girl, but that knowing in you, you a hairstylist, that knowing in you was like, yeast infection of the scalp? I'm laughing, but I kind of feel like, is that what they were thinking? Yes. So oftentimes when I have consulted with women in my clinic who have had a pattern of wearing weaves back to back to back with the goal of giving their hair a break, letting their hair grow out, but maybe due to the lack of knowledge that their hairstylist had, maybe a fear or whatever it may be, the goal was affected and impacted by the fact that whether it was the tension, some type of abrasions that can happen in the scalp when weaves are braided in that circular pattern, when they're sewn too tight, when they're worn too long. Fungal infections can happen in the scalp. So if you're wearing this type of style and your scalp is itching and, you know, it's feeling itchy, crawly, and you can't get to it and you just popping pills because you spend a few hundred on the hair and a few hundred on the service and you're going to wear this weave, just know the risk is a fungal infection of the scalp. And oftentimes when there is a fungal infection of the scalp, then someone will be prescribed a topical antifungal. Sometimes they're given an oral antifungal, but one of the active ingredients, an antifungal ingredient that you can find over the counter is ketoconazole. And you're going to find it in a shampoo called Nizoral. But prescription strength is ketoconazole, just the pure ingredient. And so again, you hear that anazole. So meconazole in monostat, ketoconazole in Nizoral. So I just want all of y'all who are watching, who are just like, so why are they putting monostat? Exactly. You don't got to put monostat on your scalp. If you feel like you're losing hair because you have a fungal infection, there is something that already exists, people. Keep the monostat for the vaginal area and just get you some ketoconazole. All right, that's enough about monostat. We 16 after the hour. Y'all know it's Sunday. Your girl got things to do. But no, it's not a form of a steroid. Great question. It is an antifungal. There are different types of corticosteroids that are used to help eliminate or reduce inflammation in the scalp to help promote hair growth. But ketoconazole is an antifungal ingredient. And also, too, for those who just popping in, not just for hair loss, because yes, fungal infections can cause hair loss, but if you have a flaky condition, because again, that natural yeast that lives on the scalp can show up in the form of flaking and the symptoms will be itchy and all of these things. Drop your questions in the chat. I got one more. Actually, there's a couple, but I got one more I'm going to talk about a little bit. And then if there are any questions, any comments, go ahead, talk to your girl, and I'll get to you before I get off. So, y'all. Going back, I'm trying to think which one. Okay, I think I'm going to talk about both real quick. Baby powder as a dry shampoo. Okay, so y'all, I was recently asked to contribute to an article about this, and I did. And I'm just giving y'all a preview to my commentary. I don't know where these things come from. I don't know if they kind of float online for a minute, but baby powder as a dry shampoo. She said, oh Lord. I know, girl. I was like, wait a minute, people putting baby powder in their scalp. Okay, this again, I get it. I think because when I get hit with these, I'm like y'all, like what's happening? I think because again, dry shampoos are typically they almost work like how someone would use a co-wash, but for the purpose of like eliminating odors and like oil and buildup from the hair. Again, this practice of dry shampoos is targeted more towards individuals who may typically shampoo their hair every day, but don't want to and want to kind of maintain their hair without going through the process of like shampooing, drying, styling the hair. So all of that to say, when it comes to using products that have not been formulated for the hair and scalp, I'm just going to tell y'all, Dr. Carrie blanket, like how I feel about it is only use what's been formulated for the hair and scalp. That's just how I feel. Baby powder, it's a powder. It's going to sit in your scalp. It's going to leave residue. There are products that are formulated as a dry shampoo. So just buy dry shampoo. All right, everyone. So I see a question. I see you. What's up? That's my cousin, everybody. Curly Love Beauty Supply. So proud of my cousin. She opened up a beauty supply store here in Los Angeles, Black owned. So if you are in the LA area, please be sure to support. And let's see, what you've been doing, girl. Let's see. You've been using hot oil treatments and tea gel to address your dandruff and it's not working. What else can you do? So if you are experiencing any excessive form of dandruff and flaking in the scalp, and you are using over-the-counter medicated shampoos and you're not getting results, you may need to see a dermatologist. I will just drop this in here real quick, that medicated shampoos, in order to get the best results, one should be used at least twice a week. You should be using the medicated shampoo by applying it directly to your scalp, massaging it in, letting it sit for at least 15 minutes so that the medicated ingredients can actually work. Medicated shampoo should not be used like a traditional shampoo. They are for your scalp. So oftentimes people will stop using their medicated shampoo because it's drying out their hair. That's exactly what a medicated shampoo will do. So don't use a medicated shampoo like a regular shampoo. Put it, what's up, Sierra girl? Happy New Year. Put it on directly on your scalp. You may also want to try to stop doing the hot oil treatments, not knowing what's triggering your flare-ups. I don't know if you're just doing just warming up some natural oils yourself, or you're using a pre-made blend. But if you have any level of sensitivity to your scalp, you may want to try just keeping what you're actually applying to your scalp very minimal. So eliminate some things from your hair care regimen, or eliminate what you're actually applying to your scalp. Maybe do hot oil treatments and just focus on the ends of your hair and not actually applying it to your scalp. But again, if if you're like Dr. Carrie, actually my cousin, but you know what I'm saying, anybody else on here who's like, this sounds good and this applies to me too. If you are like, I do that, I use my medicated shampoo like that, I put it on my scalp, I use it twice a week, and I don't put anything else on my scalp and it's still flaking, just go see a dermatologist. And you can check out one of my certified trichologists, because they work with me, and I have high standards of education. My team will tell you, so you'll be in great hands. All right, what's up, Sierra? So is there a real difference between kids hair products and regular hair products? Hey, Cheech. Some kids products will be formulated with milder ingredients. And then also too, when you think about baby products typically, like baby shampoo, they have sulfates, which ain't nothing wrong with it. A lot of infants, their sebaceous glands are overproducing sebum after they're born, which is why a lot of babies have cradle cap. It's a form of seborrheic dermatitis, or seborrhea, because I don't know if it's itching the baby, but that flaking is there. And so baby shampoos typically are formulated to help reduce all of that excess oil that is on the infant's scalp. So, I oftentimes recommend parents after a certain age stop using baby shampoos. So they're like, oh, my kid's hair is so dry. And it's like, stop using the baby shampoo. If you are able to find a line of products that are just gentle, just because they're not marketed to kids doesn't mean that they may not be safe for kids. So I think that's kind of a general question. And then oftentimes I would just recommend consulting with a trichologist or a member of my squad, because I know they'll give you the details on what will work best for your kid. But in general, I just like to recommend, especially the first 5 to 7 years, just finding products that are very gentle. But I will say, I've done some 5-year-olds who got the hair of 15-year-olds. And I'll be like, ooh, we about to deep condition you, baby. We need to trim your hair. So again, a lot of the cases are very individualized because we're individual people, but in general, you want to use products that are milder. And then Beautiful by Nature, do kid products have a lower pH? Some may. And that's why you might want to just check with the brand. You want to check with the brand. Having a marketing background, some products might just market towards kids and it's the same formulation they give into the adults. You know what I'm saying? Look at the labels, do your due diligence, get recommendations from professionals you trust. And then just make the decisions that are going to be best for your child based on their hair. Because again, I know some 5-year-olds who I'm like, ooh, hair to the middle of the back. And I'm like, I can't give you these kid prices, but ooh, my integrity, but ooh, her hair, But then I also have other kids who, the hair didn't really start growing until after they were 7. So, it's on a case-by-case basis. Thank you so much. Thank you all for your wonderful compliments. All right, y'all, it's 25 after the hour. I really enjoyed my first Sunday of the year with all of you. I have to go braid some hair. Okay, I gotta go work with a client. But again, I'm super excited. I'm gonna be popping up every Sunday. I'm also gonna be doing a workshop. I'm gonna be doing a workshop this month. I think I'm gonna do a goddess lock workshop, y'all. I need some more DK masters. If you on here, you wanna be a DK master, let me know. If you know somebody in your area who you think needs to be a DK master, I mean, we need this. I need more people. All right. So thank you all so much for joining me this Sunday. Hey, Ariana. And I look forward to seeing y'all next Sunday for sure. All right. Peace.